The sun inside the matrix versus the sun outside the matrix. Inside the matrix, the sun is struggling to find its calling because the sun is connected with our soul and our true heart's calling, and the light that we're here to shine out onto the world, and the light that we're here to shine onto others, whatever it is that we have to share, to express, to show others. But in the matrix, that looks like, okay, find your place in society, find your role, find your title. And obviously it plays on ego, and it can exploit sun through the ego by making sun feel like it's not important or it's not serving a role, because sun actually wants to serve a role. So sun can actually be really good within their families, within their communities, within their neighbors, within their societies, within their schools. But it's not actually obviously it's not actually deeply satisfying. It's just playing on the sun's ego of making it feel important for having a role in a group. Really, when you connect with the heart and soul, the sun is about your divine role within the world, within humanity. What's your innate human role within humanity? What is your soul's nature? How does your soul fit into the puzzle piece? So every single soul is required, and every single soul has a sun and has a light and has a shine. Every single soul wants to shine. Every single soul wants to connect with their sun. Sun, even if it's debilitated in your chart, that just means that your sun is about a gentle light, or your sun is about a supportive light, or your sun is about, your whole journey might actually be about finding your sun and finding your confidence and finding your light, and your soul, your life might actually start becoming about the soul. You may become an expert on the soul because you've had some more challenges in connecting with it and shining, whether that's your environment taking over, whether that's relationships taking over, your family taking over, your upbringing, your health. Something might be taking over your light. As I said, the bacteria is taking over other bacteria. Something might be taking over your light, or you may have come in with particularly harsh karmas around being able to express yourself, or being able to shine, or being respected by others, or being heard by others, or being able to share. But your soul has such a hard journey in achieving the ability to then shine. It's like cleaning that window over your heart so that your soul can shine through. You may have a particularly hard job at doing that, which means your whole life just becomes about that, and actually means you may be able to help others do the same. Someone who naturally has a very, very strong sun, they will be very clear about who they are and what they want to do and how they want to shine. Within the matrix, that might actually become very, very difficult, because what they feel, it can also get distorted and manipulated, because what will happen is you'll have a very clear idea of who you are and the light that you carry, and then society will be very quick to tell you, right, okay, you've got to study this, you've got to go into this role, you've got to get this job, and oh, you've also got to get mortgage, and oh, you've also got to pay these taxes on this, and you also have to do this, you have to get married, and then suddenly the sun is like, whoa, the soul is like, whoa, hold on a minute, that's not part of what I'm here to shine. And then they'll get stuck into those things, and they won't be able to take care and be loving within those things. They'll achieve them, they can do it. Sun is a very strong planet, and it's abundant, is energetically abundant, so it receives all the energy that it needs to carry out the things in its life. But whether those things are going to satisfy the sun, over time, what will happen is the sun will just kind of dry up and become tired and not be joyful how it was before, not have that optimistic, positive atmosphere that it had before, because it's been pulled into all these areas of life that weren't that bright, shining purpose that it had, that role that it knew it wanted to play. What does it look like out of the matrix? Out of the matrix, the sun is free. Out of the matrix, the sun is free to move around and shine its light. What's interesting about the nature of the sun is that scientifically the sun is in one place and we revolve around the sun. What that means is that your soul has a very, very clear, very fixed, very grounded, very continuous shining light that never stops shining, that is always there, is there for one reason and one reason only. It will give you eternal life and eternal light, and it's very much about one thing. And people who have a lot of sun in their chart will reflect that. They will be very much about one thing. However, the sun to us from Earth obviously rises and sets every day. It's very fast moving and we see it change every single day. And it moves and the seasons change, the heat and the effect changes around the Earth as the Earth moves around. And what that means is that sun actually does need to move around. It's not a stagnant planet. Although the light of the sun's origin is still, which is the light of the heart and the soul, is extremely still and extremely peaceful, the nature of the heart and the soul actually needs to move. It needs to be free. So sun needs to wander. It needs to actually be able to go and shine its light in every area of the planet. That's why often when you connect with your soul, you find your heart, and when you connect with your heart and your soul and your divine purpose, or even if you're not even clear on what your divine purpose is, you're being led into your divine purpose, or more your divine purpose is unfolding. You will go to random places that you didn't really plan on going. You will feel very drawn to certain countries, cities, places, groups of people. You will move around because you have a light that needs to shine in that part of the earth. And that's the nature of the sun. Whatever your sun is, whatever your light is needed by people, places, and things on the earth. And you don't even know exactly who they are that need it. Whereas the matrix is going to tell you, these are the people that need it. These are the people that you need to serve. This is what this career is going to do for these people. This is the target market that this business is going to serve. These are the target markets that we need to aim for with our products, that we need to identify for our services. That is distortion. That is not allowing the true light of the sun and your soul and your heart shine where it's needed, where it's wanted. You have to find that out. You have to connect with that. You can't decide and force that. You have to allow yourself to be guided by that light. People who have a lot of sun generally want the chance to be able to influence a lot of people in a positive way. They are found in the entertainment industries and they are found in politics as well. These are stages, let's say, that have been set up that give the impression that you are able to influence large amounts of people, that you are able to shine your light on large amounts of people. But really, whose incentive is it? Who is it for? And who's devising and designing the message? Who's crafting that light? And how are they projecting it out, and for what means and for what cause? If it's not for divine light, then who is it for? Sun inside the matrix will also burn out. It will literally burn out, because yes, they do wake up with a steady stream of energy every single day. That's one gift of sun and sun energy. But the sun does actually need the moon. It does actually need nourishment. As much as there's day, there is night. And that's another thing about the sun and about our light, is that, as we all know, a lot of the time our light can't actually shine without the darkness. How do we actually know there's light if there isn't darkness? So there has to be a balancing force. There has to be a time for sun to replenish, for your heart, for your soul to rest. You have to rest on this journey, and you have to be nourished. You have to be cooled down, otherwise, yes, you burn out. And that is one of the saddest things for sun, because they want nothing more than be able to get up and shine every single day, to share their gifts, to share what's on their heart, to share what light is coming through them. And they actually want to nourish other people. They actually want to nourish other people. They want to entertain other people. They want to enlighten other people and allow their consciousness to rise, and they want to be good fathers, and they want to be good at what it is that they're doing and what they're engaging in, and they are actually very, very committed. That's the thing about the sun. Yes, it's a wanderer. Yes, it needs to be free, and outside of the matrix it can be free, and therefore it can actually commit, because it can commit to what's about its own values. And the sun has very clear and very strong values, but in the matrix, when it's being forced to commit to things that it doesn't really align with, it can get a really bad rep for its name, because sun is not kind. It's serious. Sun is serious. Sun is a serious, hot, direct light. Your soul is not joking. Like, your soul is not here to be kind. We have to learn that your soul is here to be who it is, relentlessly. And it's not here for any other reason. That's the kind of selfish element of humans and humanity, is that we are souls and we are all here on a journey. Yes, of course. On those journeys, we help others by byproduct. We inspire others by byproduct. We even love others by byproduct. But actually, all of these things are just a byproduct of you being here and expressing yourself to your fullest capacity on a soul level and completing your journey and your cycles here. Everything else is a byproduct. We're not here to actually do good for others. And that is the distortion within the matrix, is that with these charities, with politics, with having community leaders and having all these systems that suggest that we're here to help others, we're here to make life better for each other, or that we get some kind of promise that our politicians or our educators or our teachers or even our doctors are here to make our lives better, to do things for us and to help us and to heal us, is actually a complete distortion. If those people are fulfilling their roles, if we're all fulfilling our true divine roles, by byproduct, we all help each other, we all uplift each other, and we all grow and we all love. And that is actually the truth. No one can make that happen. It will happen by nature. If you go into nature and you go and look at planet Earth, nothing is trying to help each other. It's all by byproduct. It's just fulfilling its role, and by byproduct, it is supporting another species or degrading another species in support of another species. It's all connected like that. And think about the sun. When it rises every day and it shines, it is just naturally feeding everything on this planet. It's feeding all the plants, it's feeding us, it's giving us energy. It's doing it all by just rising and setting. The other thing is that wherever you have your sun, you have a pure energy there. And it's an energy that comes from you, which means you actually know what is best for you in that area. You actually have a deeper sense that you may personally not even be able to grasp yet, because the purity of it and the scale of it is still coming to you within this life. It's this huge light, everlasting light that's coming to you. And it could be, depending on what house it is in your chart, you will probably end up doing something in that area that isn't the norm, or isn't what someone else can tell you to do, because it's your light and you hold the truth there, because the sun is very honest and very true. It may not always be able to see itself and see its own light. That's why it usually does need lots of reflections to reflect back to it what its own truth is and what it's doing right and what it's doing, putting too much energy into, and what it's not putting enough energy into. It does need constant feedback loops. That is the nature of the sun, as well as needing to switch off and switch on repetitively, like the night and the day, to make sure that it doesn't burn out and that it keeps its energy moderated. But whatever area that house is in, you will be doing that to a divine level, which is why it might actually, contrary to belief, take you longer, depending on the strength of the sun as well and what planets are supporting it. That's the other thing, is that what planets are with sun also, or support, or what planet is aspecting sun can really make a difference, because sun, as I said, sun does really rely on a feedback loop. It does have a light that's reflected back to it. It won't change the divine purpose and the divine truth of the sun, but it will change how you experience that in your life, and to what level, and to what extent, and how quickly and how slowly. But it won't change what that light is. So for example, if you have sun in the 7th house, you may be here for a divine union, not just a relationship, not just a union, but a divine union, because you're doing it in connection with your purpose and your role, which is what divine union is often about. And you're doing it on a divine level, a level of light and from the soul, which is what the sun is. Another terrible thing that can happen to sun inside the matrix is that they start draining their own energy, because the matrix structures that they're in, whether it's their daily routine, a commute, a business confined within what they can and can't do within their direct systems that they're working with, whether it's what they're paying into, the target market that they have to attract, etc., can be too cannot be strong enough to actually hold the energy of the sun. And they often will have far too much energy, drive and light to just function in their day-to-day, and they'll often start draining their own energies, whether that's through addictions such as smoking and drinking, women and womanizing, because obviously women absorb yin energy, absorbs a lot of yang energy, sometimes going out a lot, spending a lot of money, just getting anything out from their field that they can. This is draining themselves so that they can just function on their day-to-day. Can you imagine if the sun stopped unconsciously draining itself? Because obviously there does need to be a certain level of draining. You need to have the direction and the pockets that you've created within your own life, whether that's projects, initiatives, chosen groups of people that you are wanting to feed into every day, because it feeds you back, or because it stabilizes you, or because it grows more of what you want to see and what more of others want to see. The thing is, when that's conscious draining, when you're draining inside the matrix, the energy that those things that I mentioned, none of that is benefiting anybody or anyone. It can actually harm the environment, harm your own health, and harm others, and also put energy into the hands of people that are harming others. So can you imagine if once sun has freed itself and is pouring into the right places, how much more sun can actually do and achieve, how much bigger it can grow, how many more people it can actually authentically shine onto, and just like not be limited. It's like a difference between becoming a star, let's say becoming a star, or becoming famous, or becoming known, right? Because sun is a very visible, it's a very outward planet. So there's a difference between becoming a star, being known for something, for having a talent. Like there's this talent grabbing that happens within the matrix, where if someone can sing, you grab onto that and you basically put it through a factory and generate resources from it and call that a star. This is so limiting, guys. This is so limiting for these planets. We're talking on a planetary cosmic energy and level. This goes far beyond just having a talent or a skill that you've honed, or looking a certain way, having all these lights shone on you. It's not necessary. Actually, when you embody sun energy outside of the matrix, your whole life lights up with not just skills and talents, but your nature, your natural nature, your ingrained nature that's coming from a soul level. Another thing that can happen is, I'm actually feeling it right now as I'm talking about the orientation of this planet, is the anger and the internal heat of the sun, the anger you feel when your boundaries are crossed. So when your soul is restricted from expressing itself and you have to hold that down, the anger that starts building up in your body, when your boundaries are crossed, which means if your values, if things are happening around you and people are doing things around you that are not aligned with your values, which is coming from the sun and the soul, the anger that starts to build up. A lot of people think that Jupiter is an angry planet, but it's sun. Sun has the real anger coming from truth. It's righteous anger, it's divine anger, it's sacred anger. It's anger that is actually coming from your soul. It's protecting, it's sending you that message to protect you. Jupiter anger we'll talk about in the Jupiter video. It's slightly different. Can you imagine waking up and not being able to be who you are? That's happening every single day in the Matrix. That should be against the law, but the laws don't serve us and don't serve divinity and don't serve the heart and don't serve the soul. Without sun, we would not have a new earth. Our internal guidance systems are guiding us towards the new earth, are involving humanity towards the new earth. Free your sun. Free your sun, because your sun will take you there without fail. The sun is extremely reliable. The sun never ever goes away. That's why it's so sad when sun becomes somebody who doesn't get anywhere on time, appears careless, doesn't hold up its relationships. Can you imagine if you woke up and supported your divine purpose, your divine values, and your heart and soul every day, and you supported who you are and those things? How much kinder you would be naturally as a byproduct? How much happier you would be? The sun is supported by all the other planets. The sun doesn't get to do, without all those other planets revolving around the sun becomes useless and meaningless. The sun takes pride and joy in being able to have all of those reflections and shine on all those different areas of life. People think that like sun is like an ego solo. That's what the Matrix tells you. When it is feeding an ego and trying to give you an identity, sometimes they don't even give you identity, they just number you. Sometimes humans are just numbers. They've gone straight past identities now and just going straight to numbers. But more classically, we were identified by job titles and family roles, these kinds of things. It's giving that fake sense of importance, and ultimately it is meaningless. You can lose your job overnight. You lose that identity overnight. And then the sun, can you imagine how that makes the sun feel? It gets divorced. Its children move to another house. Then it's not a father. Then it's not a husband. It's not a worker. It's not a teacher. It's not a doctor anymore. Can you imagine how the sun feels after that? That's the trick. But your sun is there, whether you're those things or not. Your sun is not related to any of those things. Your sun is coming from inside you. It's your light. And you will always see that reflected in others. It can't be taken away. But without connected with that, you have no meaning. You don't. You have no meaning. And when people go through a dark night of the soul, that is what's happening. It's that constructed sun that the Matrix gave you falls apart. Something happens in your life that shows you that none of those things were truly meaningful or real or rooted or grounded or coming from truth or coming from your soul. They were all constructions. And the truth of like how meaningless that is revealed to you. You have to hit that darkness. You have to hit that bottom. The sun does not work without darkness. There has to be darkness at some point. And you will go through that dark night of the soul and you will hit that darkness and realize, wow, nothing means anything. You're going to have to accept that. And then what happens? Your divine light comes shining through. It's not going to happen immediately. It takes some time. It takes some time to find yourself within that nothingness. It's like a rebirth. It's like being born again with the true light of the sun. And then you will connect with divine meaning, divine purpose, true meaning, your true soul's calling, your true nature. And it's the biggest gift in the world. It's fantastic. The earlier it can happen, the better. Ideally, we don't want any of our children in the new earth born inside the matrix, so they don't even have to go through the dark night of the soul. They can be raised understanding this darkness, accepting it from the beginning, so that they know that they have to orient towards this light and find this light and do the practices and be in the mindset where they can receive that. And that's a free society. That's freeing humanity on a soul level. That's freeing the sun. That's freeing the sun from you don't even have to free the sun, you just have to allow it, because like I said, it's so strong and powerful and always there and such a gift. You just have to allow it. You have to allow it to come into that darkness in the dark night of the soul and fill up your body, fill all those different parts of the body where you might have frozen energy, stuck energy, dark thought patterns that aren't yours, fearful thought patterns. Once the sun comes in, you allow it to fill you up. Then you found your place, you found meaning. And the rest of your life will become about that. No questions asked, naturally. And that sun outside of the matrix.